Hey North Shore, welcome to the after party. I'm Stan, and I'm joined this week by Macy, and we are kicking off a new series called Hear Them Sing. It's all about the different Christmas or stories of people singing during the Bible's Christmas accounts, and just these moments where people offered up these songs to God, and it's our way of reflecting on the Christmas season. And this week, Pastor Scotty talked about Mary's song, and it was just this invitation for us to think about, oh, what God invited Mary into was not exactly the Hallmark Christmas. And we were just riffing on that of like, when we think about Hallmark Christmas or just like the ideal Christmas, like what are all the pressure points that come with that?
Yeah. Like you have, in a Hallmark movie, you have like a family matching pajamas, like everything just looks perfect. Like everyone looks happy. And
Everything turns out right.
Everything turns out right. Or like when you're watching the movie, you're like predict like two people are going to be together by the end of the movie, like all this stuff.
You know exactly how it's going to end.
You know.
Yeah. These people are ending up together. There's no real risk here.
Yeah.
Like the tension points are just these like minor miscommunications that they'll figure out. And like, that's just not really life. Like that's not really how it works out. Like I grew up in a pretty hard life. I've shared that story in different sermons and things like that before, but like holidays for us growing up were almost like these like, man, everybody else is happy and like we are not. Like we are struggling or we are dealing with something. And it felt like there was this disconnect. And I think Mary's story was a good reminder that like, oh, that's not really what God is not inviting us into Hallmark. He's inviting us into the real mess of life and is actually there with us. And what does that teach us about a God who's willing to like come into our lives in that same way?
Yeah, I think what Scotty had mentioned this, he's like, God is mighty, God is just, and God is faithful. And those three they speak louder than anything to me right now, because our God is so powerful and so mighty, and our God is just in righteousness, and our God is forever faithful. And so like when I think about like the holidays right now, like Christmas, and I mean, I'm a sucker for Hallmark movies. I would watch them with my mom growing up. I would watch like Hallmark movies with her, and that's just like a bonding that her and I have. And so like I love like the stories. Like I love how they like share and like portray like that side of like that joyfulness, that happy within those movies. But when I think about like my life, I think about how like my life it's not perfect. I'm not perfect. And like it's messy. And I think how you said earlier, Stan, like Mary's story is messy. And like when we are walking with God and like having a relationship with God, like he's going to guide us in that messiness.
And he's not surprised that we have that messiness either. Yeah. Like he's just there with us in it. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about how we're approaching Christmas this year at North Shore is, we want to celebrate and have matching photos and all the things that like you want to have. And there's nothing wrong with like aspiring to that kind of stuff.
So fun.
We're also very real that like, that's not where everybody's at. Some people are dealing with loss of loved ones and this is their first holidays without them. Some people are dealing with deep emotional pain. Some people are just dealing with all sorts of disappointments and layoffs and who knows what else.
Yeah.
But God's with them in that, and that you can come and be here and hopefully get to have some level of celebration and joy, but also be real about where you're at with us. And that's okay because God's with us in that. And that's really the kind of story that he came into from the very beginning. And we hope that you'll be with us through this Hear Them Sing series. We also have another thing that helps us in that season. It's called our Advent Project. We've got a little book right here that is a guide. Macy's modeling it as I knock the other one over. But it comes with a series of videos that you can find at northshore.church/Advent. There's one for each week that focuses on a different theme. But you can jump in, on the week that you find it, or you can go back and start from the very beginning. It's kind of free form for how you want to do it. And it's best done with a group of people. So if you've got some people that you'd love to share it with, we'd love for you to experience it with them. But yeah, we're so happy that you're with us this Christmas season, and whatever stage of life or whatever season of life you're in, there's a place for you here with us. Have a great night.
Bye.